respected principal, Dr. R.K. Pardeshi, my very good friend, Professor Gajhans, Professor Suryavanshi, Professor Santosh Mane, my another good friend, Professor Raju Rupwate, other resource persons, participants, geographers, academicians, and my dear friends. At the outset, I'm very thankful to the principal of Swami Ramanand Shikshan Prasarak Mandal's Sant Ramdas Arts and Commerce Science College and its organizers for giving me an opportunity to share some of my thoughts on a very important topic, that is geography, education and sustainable development, or role of geography in the sustainable development. I hope you are able to see my screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
One minute, sir.
Is it okay?
Not seen your screen, sir.
Please mute your mobiles.
Hello, sir. Not seen your screen.
The screen is not visible?
Yes, yes. Not visible.
Not visible. Okay, I'll try it again. I'll just try it again.
Sir, firstly, you open your screen,
No
your
problem,
laptop. Yes, sir. Visible. Yes, sir. Visible.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me start with my presentation. We are already late, almost by about 45 minutes, so there's no problem. I will limit my presentation to the time given to me. About 20 minutes is the time allotted. Looking at the present circumstances, I would like to bring it down to 15 minutes so that unnecessarily I will not create a kind of problem, because as it is, we are having a technological glitch. So I will start with my presentation. So as I've already told you that I'll be sharing some of my thoughts on geography education for sustainable development. We are on a planet which is 4,600 million years old. On this planet, we have a history of man which runs to about 2.5 lakh years, but we have a recorded history of about 5,000 years. In these 5,000 years, man has learned so many things from his observations. So whenever he learned his lessons from the nature, he documented in one or the other form. Maybe in the beginning he was not aware about the letters, he was not aware about the structure in which he could write, but he documented the way he could have done. So in the beginning of the journey of man, the entire science was studied under philosophy. So there was nothing. So everything was studied under philosophy. When man came into existence, I think first he got himself excited about the earth, excited about the universe. So meaning he was trying to understand what was happening around him. And all those recordings of his observations were recorded in the form of philosophy, and later under philosophy we studied everything, meaning all the sciences, everything came under that. But I think this particular law may not be applicable to geography, because geography has a history of 2000 years. 2000 years back, Greek scholar, Greek philosopher Greek geographer Eratosthenes, he coined the word geography from two Greek terms. So therefore, if at all anything was studied under philosophy during that time, but geographical knowledge was independent, and from geography other branches have born. And today we regard geography as the mother of all sciences for a simple reason that the new branches, the modern branches of knowledge, the modern disciplines, all those have emerged from the content of geography. Now, geography is one subject which has got three sides. It is biological, it is natural, and it is social. So there's a dichotomy in geography. There's a dualism in geography, that whether geography is a physical science, social science, or biological science. But the speciality of geography is, it is a combination of all the three. All the three. So today we are talking about multidisciplinary approach, interdisciplinary approach, and intradisciplinary approach, or transdisciplinary approach. All these approaches are integral to the subject of geography. Today we may be talking, but we have been experimenting this kind of things in geography for a very, very long time. Hence, geography has a natural advantage of studying sustainable development or sustainability, which other subjects may not have the advantage, because right from the beginning we are adopting multidisciplinary perspective in our subject. Therefore, geographers have great opportunity to participate in sustainable research. So today our research concentrates only on sustainable research. So geographers have more advantage than other physical scientists or social scientists or biological scientists to understand the sustainability component of the research. So this is what I was talking about. Geography is physical, geography is biological, geography is social science. Now if you take these blue circles, now blue circles represent the physical science component of geography. The orange circles represent the biological component of geography, and whereas the pink circles represent the social component of geography. Hence, geography is physical science, geography is biological science, and geography is social science. And above all, she is the mother of all sciences, because she has given birth to all the modern sciences with a history of more than 2000 years. As a result of its field, or as a result of its presence in physical sciences, biological sciences, and social sciences, it has devised its own multidisciplinary approach, which is very much unique to the subject of geography. From the Industrial Revolution, the various countries, more so the European countries, the American countries, and the oceanic countries, have achieved unprecedented economic growth. It's unbelievable economic growth in last 300 years. But we also have countries which have not made progress. And I would say that the countries which have not made progress, similar to the West, are very fortunate. Because development which has happened in Europe and in America is responsible for various serious consequences on environment and public health. So the countries where the development is not in par with the developed countries, to a certain extent, they are in a position to preserve their environment. But I don't know whether they are able to manage their public health. So today we are in pandemic, COVID-19. Now COVID-19 has brought to the light of the world that however developed country it may be, they are unprepared when it comes to the public health. So this is the effect of the unprecedented economic growth which has happened in the past. Now countries are realizing that quantity is not important, but what is important is the quality of the development. So therefore, we are talking about sustainable development. The quality will come with sustainable development, but with the haphazard development, what you will get is the quantity. But for the future survival of man, quantity is not important, but what is important is the quality of the development. Now, one very important thing that we need to realize, that we have to build a harmonious world for today, for tomorrow, and the years to come, the generations to come. Because if our Earth is not harmonious, if our planet is not harmonious, then I think we will lead to a destruction. And the answer to this question lies in the sustainable development of the planet Earth. In this sustainable development, geographers are going to play a very important role. And I have told you the reason why geographers play a very important role in the sustainable development, because geography is one subject, as I told you earlier, that it has got three different dimensions, it has got three different components, biological, physical, and social. And above all, it is that science which has got its own multidisciplinary approach. So that makes geography something very special to study the sustainability. Hence, geographers are required to play a very big role in the sustainability of the Earth. For the first time, word sustainable development came to the light somewhere in 1987. 1987. So the concept is about 30 or 3 decades old, roughly 33 years old. So 3 decades. But geography has been addressing this particular issue may not be by using the term sustainable development, but we are addressing sustainable development since ages as a part of man-nature interaction. Man-environment relationship is integral to the content of geography, to the curriculum of geography. And this is the central idea and the focal theme of the sustainable development. So we may call today it is sustainable development, but for geography, sustainable development is nothing but man-nature interaction or man-environment relationship. Now, what is sustainable development? Now, sustainable development, in my opinion, can be defined just nothing but development that's likely to last long and very long. Now, today, we are talking about development which is limited for a very short period. So, a development related for a very short period cannot be sustainable development. Sustainable development has to last for long and very long. How much? That answer is not available. So, how much is for the n number of generations which are going to come? But it has to be on a very continuous and sustainable basis. All of us are running colleges. So the management of this particular college is running, management is running this college. Now, management will have to have plan for next 5 years, next 10 years, next 20 years, next 50 years, next 100 years. Suppose if we plan only for 5 years and we don't know what is going to happen after 5 years, that cannot be called as the sustainable growth and development of the college. So therefore, we have to plan for a very long, and whatever objectives, goals that we decide, we need to achieve them by using unique methods. As I told you, for the first time, sustainable development concept came into existence as a part of Brundtland Commission. United Nations organization had appointed a committee to study about man-environment delicate relationship, and as an outcome of that responsibility which was given to Brundtland, they came out with a very important definition, and it's the most powerful definition and also very popular definition in the world today. The Brundtland Commission in 1987 defined sustainable development as the development that meets the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. So since this definition has been discussed time and again, I will not throw light on this. But what is very important is that we are catering to the needs of the present generation, and also we are thinking of the requirements of the future generation. Now remember, this earth has been handed over to me by my parents. I am not the owner of the planet. My father, to whom this earth was handed over by his father, so my father is also not the owner of this planet. We are the caretakers. We are the caretakers. For so many generations, this earth has been handed over to next generation, and next generation, and it has come to me. And now I have no power to destroy the resources available on the earth. Now, what I'm supposed to do is use how much needed for me, use what is required for me, and keep something for my children so that they can also enjoy, because they also have equal right, because in due course of time they will become the caretaker of this earth. The same responsibility will be on them. Use how much required and pass on to the next generation. So basically, sustainable development is maintaining balance between human needs on one hand and preserving environment. This is, I think, a very important concept in geography. Man-environment relationship, man-nature interaction. Hence, sustainable development is about relationship between people and environment, which is the integral component of geography. As a result, geographers are the best people to contribute towards the sustainability and also towards the sustainable development. Since the inception of United Nations, it has played a very important role in the sustainable development. Many conferences, many agendas have been formulated by United Nations organization. Initially, the agendas were framed, the conferences were organized to preserve environmental conservation. But in 87, for the first time, United Nations came out with the concept of the sustainable development. As a part of that, United Nations formulated Millennium Development Goals, and United Nations expected that all the countries will participate in this mission, and by 2015 they will eradicate poverty and hunger from the world, provide universal primary education to all the population, ensure environmental sustainability. It only spoke about environmental sustainability. Sustainability has got so many other aspects. It has got social sustainability, it has economic sustainability. So then in Millennium Goals, only environmental sustainability was identified. Then also, as a part of Millennium Development Goals, United Nations wanted to promote gender equality and empowerment of women, combat diseases like HIV, AIDS, malaria, etc., bring improvement in the maternal health and reduce child mortality, and also develop the concept of global partnership for the development. But unfortunately, by 2014, we were not in a position to achieve the targets, which was very shocking for the entire world and to the thinkers of the United Nations who are taking care of the entire well-being of the humanity of the world. As a result, they came out with new agenda, Agenda 2030, which is very popularly known as Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. There are 17 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. Now by 2030, meaning from 15 onwards, so 15 to 30 in about 15 years' time, United Nations organization is making efforts to eradicate complete poverty from the world, no hunger, no tolerance for hunger, good health and well-being for everybody, quality education for everybody, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industrial innovation infrastructure, reduce inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice and strong institutions, and the last one, partnership for all the goals. So we are now into this agenda in last 5 years. So in 5 years, there were good visible trends in achieving the sustainable development goals. But unfortunately, COVID-19 has put a brake. Because of COVID-19, the poverty has increased. In just about 6 months' time, 71 million people have gone into below poverty line. Hunger has multiplied. And similarly, we know what is happening to the good health. millions and millions of people are infected with COVID-19. So similarly, many of these things which were actually on right track have got affected. So COVID-19 has put a brake on the realizing the goals of the Sustainable Development Agenda of 2030. So how much time we will take to recover from COVID-19, we have absolutely no idea. And we don't know how much this COVID-19 is going to further impact the Sustainable Development Goals. How many people will be pushed into poverty? How many people will die because of hunger? How many people will be deprived of good health and well-being? So we have absolutely no idea. Similarly, another area which has badly affected is the education, quality of education. So suppose if there was no COVID, I think I would be giving this particular lecture right in your college. But because of pandemic and because of the prevailing circumstances, so our education also has, created a problem. We have network issues. Our students are very poor; they cannot afford technology. So how education will reach? So we have deprived many students the quality of education. And similarly, gender equality has resulted into inequality because of COVID-19. So now we'll have to just wait for a few years to see what kind of impact the COVID-19 is going to play on the Sustainable Development Goals. A sustainable development goal has got certain parameters. Number one, existence of life in a pollution-free environment. We have to live, we have to sustain life without pollution. So if we can remove pollution, I think that's going to be wonderful. COVID-19, it has got so many negative sides, but one positive side of COVID-19 is because of the lockdowns, our environment became very pure. Our air became clear. Our waters of Ganga, Yamuna became pure. They became in a drinkable state. So now we have to think of the further continuation of the present circumstances. If you can maintain pure environment free from pollution, I think we have won the race of sustainable development. So that is the first parameter. Second parameter is coexistence of all forms of living organisms. We are not the only living organism on this earth. There are billions and billions of organisms. So all of us have to live in a symbiotic relationship. All of us need the help of each other. We need wild animals need us. We need plants needs us. So there is a symbiotic relationship. So under sustainable development, we can achieve this. We have to fulfill the basic needs of living organisms. So every living organism has basic rights. We have to fulfill those basic rights. And our economy has to be very effective. It has to be very effective. It has to address the problems that we face from time to time. Another important parameter of sustainable development is the social justice and equal opportunity for all, men, women, and literate, illiterate, rich, poor, whatever may be our social status. We have to provide justice, we have to provide equal opportunities to all, again possible under sustainable development. Today, the population of the world is touching about 8,000 million, which is unimaginable population for this particular earth. We have exceeded the limits. Now there is need to control population. Now when we think of controlling population, we have to create awareness. We have to create awareness among the masses about the ill effects and the side effects of having more population. So if at all we can do all this, or if we can realize these 6 parameters of sustainable development, I think we will be reaching very close to achieving the goals of sustainable development as decided by the United Nations. Now, there's one principle of sustainability. If all of us, as the citizen of the world, we are citizens of this great country, yes, definitely, we are also citizens of this world. If, as a citizen of this planet, we can follow these principles, I think reaching sustainability is not going to be away from us. Now, what we need to do? Reduce, and reduce. If I cannot reduce, Then what I need to do? Reuse. Reuse. And reuse. If I cannot reuse, recycle. Till I cannot recycle, then burn it, create energy. And even if you cannot create energy, then take the last option of dispose. But unfortunately, what are we doing? We are starting with the last option. First, we dispose. Solid waste disposal. We are not thinking of reducing. We are not thinking of reusing. We are not thinking of recycle. We are not thinking of creating any energy out of it. Directly, we are exercising the last option as the first option. So if your approach is going from down to top, I think we will not be able to reach very close to the sustainable development. Now the responsibility of reduce, reuse, recycle, create energy, then dispose, I think belongs to each one of the individuals. Now, there is a very important role for geography education in sustainable development. So what as geographer we need to do is set sustainability goals. We geographers have to set sustainable goals. Existing knowledge of man-nature interaction is inadequate to solve the questions of the sustainability. We have been studying man-environment relationship, determinism, possibilism, neo-determinism for a very long time. So what we need to do is, our existing knowledge is inadequate to solve the problem. So we need to do a lot of research in man-nature interaction. I think this new research is the need to develop a helping hand to achieve the sustainable development. So thank you very much for listening to me. Once again, I'm grateful to this college for giving me an opportunity to share some of my thoughts. Thank you one and all. Yes, I have finished. I have finished with my presentation, please. Mane sir.
Oh sir, yes.
I have finished with my presentation. Mother supply
Okay,
presentation supply mother.
Okay sir, okay. Okay sir. Okay. Thank you so much, Professor Manoj. Thank you very much for sharing your knowledge with us. Your session was full of deep and valuable information. Once again, I express my gratitude and thank you so much for sparing your time for this international event, sir. Thank you.